All righty, here with Forever Golden Bear, current Indianapolis Colt, Camryn Bynum. And Cam, first, thank you for the time, but I want to kind of peel back the curtain to, how your life has been a movie in recent weeks here. Can you walk me through the process of scheduling your time, visiting Cal again, and then getting to the concert? What came first, and how did it kind of shake out, and then bringing the whole family along?
So I think sad to say, but the concert came before everything. That made me go back to the Bay that weekend because it was the only time I was able to go see BTS right now with our OTA schedule, it's tough. But thankfully we have weekends off. But it was also my daughter's first birthday. So I was like, okay, I can do all three in one weekend. I can do the BTS concert, do my daughter's first birthday, and it's her first time meeting all of my family from the Bay Area. So meeting my whole mom's side of the family. So was able to do that. And then I was like, okay, well, obviously, if I go back to the Bay Area, I have to go up to Cal. So it was really the perfect weekend being able to go to the BTS concert, go see everybody, old family at Cal. Like there's so many people there that I was able to see and even meet new faces and go go up to Cal for the first time since I think 2024 when I was there for my old teammate Elijah for his wedding. That's the last time I've
Okay.
been back to Berkeley. So super long overdue, but it was super enjoyable.
So when you kind of look into when you were doing that and when you stepped foot back in the building, obviously some different faces, but some other guys who you have known like Benji, like Marshall, Michael Safel, your old teammate still on staff
Right.
and such. What were some of the first memories that kind of came to mind once you were walking back into that building?
The good and bad memories. It felt like, I was there in the morning. I came there in the morning, so it felt like I was going to the morning workouts, and we used to go there and know that we're about to do some insane conditioning. So you think about those days, and those are the good days thinking back on it. But I remember like that nervous feeling of what do the coaches have for us today, with Coach Beckton, and knowing that he was going to put us through a crazy workout at 6 a.m. But you look back at those days, it's like all great memories, thinking back at that, then just walking through the coach's office, just thinking, wow, I used to walk around here and just chop it up with coaches for hours after practice, just to build relationships and making sure that when I was there, I knew everybody and, made sure that to actually like tap in really well with the people in the offices beyond just my coaches. So it was cool being able to go there. And now you see, even with the turnover of the coaching staff, it's still the same people in the offices, recruiting staff, still the same support staff. So media, having Kyle still there, like everybody, the whole team that I took time to make sure that I was really close with when I was at Cal. It's cool to be able to go back and see them there. And so I had so much fun being able to go back. It felt like I'm going back home.
Looking more into some of those good memories that you mentioned, what are some of those immediate games that you played in a Golden Bear uniform that come to mind of, man, that really takes me back?
Every game against UW, for me, knowing that they had history of having their great secondary, and so I think our games against UW were always the ones that we prepared the most for, knowing that they're always ranked high. They had a really good squad, but for us, for the Takers back in the day,
Yeah.
it was the competition of our secondary versus their secondary, and that was always like the biggest competition of in the division. We were known as the best defense and the best secondary in college football at a point, and they were the same. And they had all their players go to the NFL just like all of our players. So I just remember going into those weeks, and a lot of our coaches had history coaching at UW and coming from the same coaching tree. So it was also there's a lot of I wouldn't say bad blood in a bad way, but competition. There's a big time competition there when it was time to go against UW. So I just remember those weeks, and that was like the time to be like super locked in, knowing that we wanted to be the best secondary that steps on that field that day.
So I take it you loved running alongside Evan for the pick six in 18 and then the Lightning Bowl in
Yeah.
19. You enjoyed those ones a
Oh,
lot.
those are the best days I can think of. I still go back and think about those days and just being able to make plays in big time games like that and put the game in our hands on defense and it be successful.
By extension, you mentioned the takers and Cal. From the outside perspective, it's like they've graduated two whole secondaries to the NFL by this point. They've had 10 draft picks from defensive backs alone since 2020. You're a part of that. There are a bunch of the takers in the Super Bowl, including Jalen Hawkins. What's it kind of been like, both with yourself and kind of seeing your friends and your peers kind of take shape in their own NFL careers with the takers?
It's so cool just seeing everybody first and foremost make it to the NFL and get a chance to play, and just knowing that we really over time we built something that outlasted ourselves. Our group was the first group to get that started, starting with Ashton and Jayhawk and them getting drafted before my last year. I did 1 year after them, but us just starting that off over the past 7 years, however long it's been. It's just cool to see something last beyond ourselves. I'm not saying that we started it, but just the culture that you build while you're there, and just the impact that it takes a few to start up, especially for DBs, a few DBs to make it, and now we're all on the map. And you see, there's a phrase around the league that he's a Cal guy. So knowing that the guys that go to Cal are always the smart players that coaches can depend on, to throw a lot of information at them, and they'll be able to understand it. And that's something that I've seen in my career with coaches expecting a lot out of me. But it's also a high standard that people know from the outside that the standard we have at Cal is super high. And it goes to show that we've had so many guys drafted, and nobody wants to talk about it, but that's DBU in my opinion, having this many people. I don't know if you compare the numbers, interceptions in the league, or start to however you do it. We got to be top somewhere, and I haven't even compared any numbers like that. But if you just look at the facts and for what it is, we're for sure in that conversation.
Yeah, and I mean that's 100% true. When you just acknowledging that obviously you want to get to the Super Bowl yourself, what was it like seeing Jayhawk and Craig Woodson get to that stage?
I was living through them. Our group chats are still going. So Jayhawk is sending all the videos, and, just his experience. We did like every week, or every few weeks during season, we do like a weekly check-in where we record a video of ourselves and just say how life is. Me, Elijah, Jayhawk, Marcel Dancy, our old close
Yeah.
friends that we still keep in contact with. Our group chat still goes. And, during the Super Bowl time, it was just like, wow, he really, like, we used to sit there on the turf after practice. There's a phrase that we always say. We were just on that turf yesterday, like, whether we're on vacation all together or seeing them in the Super Bowl. It feels like yesterday we were sitting on the turf after a tough workout and be like, dang, one day we're gonna make it, y'all. Just keep grinding. We used to literally have those conversations, and look at it now. There's playing in the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of emotional times as a friend group that went on, and just being able to see that, wow, it all paid off for all of us, but especially for them being able to play in the biggest game of their life.
That's awesome to see that the group chat is still going. Have you guys been able to meet up in person at any point? Obviously, very hectic schedules for you guys respectively, but have you guys been able to meet up in person at all?
Yeah, Elijah and Jayhawk, they came to the Philippines 2 years ago. So they came visit me overseas, and we went on vacation together. I know I wasn't able to make it to Jayhawk's wedding, but we all met up for Elijah's wedding in 2024. Elijah came to my house during bye week this past season because he's in Chicago, so that's only a
Hmm.
3 hour drive from Indianapolis. So we all see each other a lot still. And Craig married my cousin. So I was just with him this past weekend. Now we're all in, the same house sometimes. We live a
Yeah.
few doors down, and we're all back in California. So it's literally all family at this point.
Did you play matchmaker for Craig or?
I guess technically because we were teammates and my cousin would come to games, but I didn't necessarily put them
Yeah.
together. Technically, they met through me because
Yeah.
my cousin was at games because of me, then met Craig. But yeah, I can't claim it, but distantly, I
Yeah.
could somewhat.
But we'll give you some secondhand credit for it.
Yeah.
Moving in towards some of your off the field activities. When the Super Bowl was here in February, I talked with one of your former teammates in Kenny Moore, and he mentioned that you just don't have a bad day. You exude kind of a different type of the energy that people want to surround themselves with. Where do you think that kind of came from, and kind of your upbringing, or maybe how it kind of transformed throughout your life?
It all started with my faith, being able to just live with that peace, knowing that no matter what, God has me taken care of. So that's where the movie phrase came from, just trying to do everything to the best of my ability, enjoy everything with the most joy, because one, like I said, it starts with my faith. So I think that's the whole reason for my smile, for me, screaming movie, no matter what happens. I'm always gonna treat everything like, try and do it to the best of my ability, have the most fun while doing it, and work as hard as I possibly can for it. So you can enjoy things. So I think that's it. All starts with my faith, and that's what helps me go without having any bad day, no matter the situation. That's the same attitude.
That's cool to hear. The last two for you. One of the things you also kind of got into in this off season, I noticed, is back at your high school alma mater at Centennial, kind of the Bynum Faith, let me make sure I say this correctly, Bynum Faith Foundation event at Centennial. Can you kind of walk us through what that was like in scheduling that and kind of what you were hoping to get out of that in goal wise?
Yeah, so that was my first camp this past weekend, doing it in the U.S. For the past 3 years, we've been doing all of our camps in the Philippines and, growing football on that side of the world. But it was cool to be able to come back to the U.S. and especially go back to my hometown and my high school and do a camp there. It's long overdue, but it was super fun to be able to, have the experience of putting camps on in the Philippines. So when I came back to do it in the U.S., that it was ran well and done to the best of our ability. So it was super fun being able to go back and see all my old teammates and friends. And it's a big deal when a person from your hometown and your same high school is playing in the NFL. So for me, being able to do that and inspire the kids, and they come there and they're able to meet me, and beyond just getting a picture and an autograph, I'm out there coaching and out there actually talking to the kids and talking to parents and everything, taking that time. I think they really appreciate that. But I appreciate the people actually showing up for me to be able to teach them the things that I know and trust me with giving the kids the knowledge that they need in life and on the field. So it was a super blessing to be able to go out there in my hometown and bring the same, intent on building the game and spreading football, but also being able to, help people grow in the sport and off the field, just like we've been doing in the Philippines for the past year, and being able to bring it to my hometown now.
So just to confirm, your high school teammates did help you out with that camp and such?
Yeah, there's a good amount of old high school teammates that came back, and it was like a little mini reunion,
Yeah.
coaches and everybody. So it was really fun.
That's sick. The last one for you, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I know what the answer to this is, but you're at Cal, you're at BTS, you're at Colts OTAs, you're helping run camps. How does one simply describe the life of Camryn Bynum?
A movie. I gotta
Yeah,
say that. I have
yeah,
to say that just cause. But I'd say chaotic in a good way. If you're just willing to, sacrifice some sleep, I guess, even though I'm getting 8 hours of sleep a night. It's just a lot of people think, oh wow, he's flying back to California every time he gets a weekend off. But it's like 4 hours to go be. I love it in Indy, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like being in California, whether I'm in Southern California or back in the Bay. It's like, especially in the off season, I want to take advantage of my time. So I think I don't miss an opportunity to do something I enjoy. And, I'll be here all season. So while I have time off during the off season, I take advantage of every second that I have. So that's why I'm able to go back to visit Cal, have my
yeah,
daughter's first birthday party, do a camp, go to a BTS concert all in one weekend. So, or span of 1 week. So it's super enjoyable being able to do that. But for me, I enjoy moving around and doing a lot of things, and taking advantage of time that I have, because once I'm in season, I'm
yeah.
super locked in. So it's like I enjoy the off season because I know the type of person I am during season. I don't play around when it comes to studying football, recovery, and everything. So it's polar opposites.
Yeah, head down and go to work. I actually thought of one last one. I know the Cal fan base will like this one. What was the Berkeley food spot you missed the most?
The one place I went to that I could not miss, well, Pasta Benet closed down, so I was actually like heartbroken about that, because I was looking to go there. But I went to Ori Rice Triangles. That's been
Ooh,
my spot since 2019. I started going there, and that's the one place when we were leaving Cal. We were in a rush to get back to my daughter's birthday party. I'm like, we got to stop here on the way home. So that was the one spot. Pasta Benet closed down sadly, and second place was going to be.
yeah.
Oh, and I also went to Bagel Street Cafe, or is that what it's called?
I I want to say that if it's not 100% correct, you're really close, and I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
Bagel
about.
Street something. I went there for breakfast. Then I went to go work out on the field at Cal, see the coaches, see Coach Hutch, defensive coordinator. I was my safety coach with the Vikings. It's cool seeing him at Cal. And then, yeah, then for lunch had Ori.
There we go. That's awesome. I mean,